Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are doing a recap and review of The Bachelorette season 16 episode 8. So if you're new here, smash the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button and drop a comment down below as well. So it starts out with JoJo, a previous Bachelorette and a former contestant as well, actually meeting up with Tayshia in regards to, getting reacquainted, and they're happy to see each other. But the other thing is, she mentions that she's going to actually be here for a short period of time or temporarily, just because of the fact of what's going on with Chris. So speaking of that particular situation, both JoJo and Chris meet up with the guys to let them know that because of the fact that he was going off to take his son to college and move him in, of course, that JoJo was going to be the one who's going to be kind of working in his place. And she also have a date card. And of course, to the disappointment of some of the guys, the date card was actually given to Zac. So, of course, Zac is really excited. He's definitely looking forward to his one-on-one date with Tayshia. At first in the beginning, I actually thought that they had a lot of chemistry together, but I don't know now. I'm not really sure like I was a couple episodes ago. But anywho, one of the activities of the day that they were going to do is a wedding photo shoot. And, it's unfortunate, of course, with everything that's going on with the pandemic. The thing is that normally with the Bachelor and Bachelorette, they're able to kind of maneuver outside of the area that they're normally in or off the resort or whatever. But in this particular case, they had to be creative. And this is one of the things that they came up with. And of course, during this time where Tayshia's looking at dresses, she's thinking about the fact that she's been married before, and whether she have that second thought about doing it again. And then of course, Zac has some things that he needs to talk to her about as well. And they kind of started off kind of awkward, because it was, kind of uncomfortable. I mean, they're in the whole wedding scenario, and usually we need to get to an engagement first when we do the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. But unfortunately, this was a mock wedding photo shoot. But they definitely look good together on the pictures. I actually thought that they did. Again, I'm not sure about the chemistry as much as I used to be, But you guys let me know down in the comments what you think, about Zac and Tayshia. Okay. So they had looked like a total of 3 changes. This is one of the next outfits that they did a photo shoot in. And I mean, I didn't find the suit appealing. Maybe someone else did. My son was watching it with me. He didn't think it was that bad, but okay. And then they did another kind of like a traditional type outfit where she had this big poofy gown and he had on this light colored tux. And let me know out of the 3 which one is your favorite. I like the dress that she had on in the first photo shoot. So I like that slim sleek look, little A-line. I wasn't too fond of the second dress, and then the third one was kind of big and poofy, but kind of Cinderella like. But they actually was able to sit down and have some conversation. The conversation got kind of deep because, Zac was afraid to tell her that he had been married before. And she said that she was married before. So they definitely connected on that level. So then they actually had a dinner date as well. And this is where it really got deep because Zac decided to open up more about his previous marriage and his battle with addiction. And he definitely tells a story of how he became sober and how his sobriety journey went, how bad it got, and how it changed him today. And the interesting thing is that he learned from that, and then now he helped others to do that. So I will give him kudos for that. That's awesome. I really like the fact that now he gives back because he know what the experience is like. So he can definitely connect with someone on a deeper level when it comes to this. Okay. So then she decided to give him the date rose. So he got the first rose of the night. And then they decided to spend some time at a mini carnival that they obviously set up on the resort, because these guys, they can't leave being in the bubble. But I will say that this scene was extremely romantic. I thought it was really cute. It was really creative. Let me know what you guys think. But again, I question the chemistry there still. So now we have our first group date of the night, and it's about nude paintings. And the guys are definitely, it was 10 guys total: Ben, Bennett, Blake, Brendan, DeMar, Ed, Ivan, Noah, Riley, and Spencer. And they were definitely all excited to see Tayshia. They all go over to this area where they see two nude models. And they have to actually start out painting them. Now, originally they thought that they were going to have to be models themselves, but they were definitely excited that they wasn't. And then there was a little tiff going on of fighting over seats between Noah and Bennett. That was so crazy. I'm like, oh my God, these like two kids in kindergarten. So they actually had to draw what they saw in regards to the models. And the paintings came out hilarious, but hey, it was all in good fun, right? But these were some of the examples of the paintings, or the look like crayon. So they weren't really painting, but they definitely did some portraits by hand on what the two models look like, So they tried to make it fun. I mean, guys, let me know what you think about it in the comment section, if this was a, good way to start the activity. Now, they also had to do something else creative, but before we get to that, they decided that they had to put on blindfolds, and of course, Bennett put a blindfold and snuck a kiss from Tayshia. Okay, and of course, everybody's looking like, yeah, okay, Bennett, yeah, right. But in the meantime, there was this comment that, Noah threw out there saying that Bennett is privileged because he's this Harvard grad, and that didn't sit too well with Tayshia, but, she brushed it off and kept it moving, and so did the guys. And so they had to come up with their own artwork, and create something to, kind of simplify or show exactly how would it look for them, her and him or whoever, to be in a relationship. And so it was so cool that Brendan came up with just an empty picture frame where he has himself, and then he shifted to the left and then says that this is a space for her. And she thought that was so cute. I thought that was creative. I like Brendan with her. Let me know what you think. And then Riley also did a portrait that he created. And then, Ben was definitely standing around, but he really stepped outside of the box. He said, you know what, forget this painting. I'm going to really be creative. And he decided to strip and give the bare naked him to Tayshia. And he's basically like, here, I'm giving you all of me. This is who I am. Whatever, what you see is what you get. I thought it was creative. Now, I don't know about anybody else. He chose to show, his bare naked self. But, I mean, I thought that the ingenuity of it all, I thought that was creative. And it definitely, gave brownie points to Tayshia. Well, she gave him brownie points. And it impacted her so much that she was really emotional about the fact. And she even made a comment saying, this is exactly what it's like to be around grown men, which is what took her to this level of, being this emotional about it. So I don't know. I mean, I thought it was different. I won't say weird because everybody expresses their emotions in different ways. And obviously it touched her in a way that, she felt that she had to take a moment and, express herself. But she really enjoyed herself with the guys. And this is where she was able to have what they would call, I guess, the after party of the group date, where she can actually sit and have a one-on-one. As we see, she did one with Riley. She definitely did one with Brendan. And like I said, I really like Brendan. I think she has a lot of chemistry and connection with him. In the meantime, we still got Bennett and Noah having a sparring event with each other. But, Tayshia is really taking the time to, sit down and get to know these guys. And with Ben, she definitely was impressed by what he did earlier. And she showed that she was impressed by, of course, kissing him more than once. And she was really happy about that. Now, she has another rose to give, which is the group date rose. And she chose to give it to Ben, which I expected that. I mean, he really stepped out the box and he put in the work because he said he was going to step up and show up. And definitely this is what he's doing. And of course, people like Riley and Bennett, they were not happy. They were disappointed that they didn't get the rose. However, it didn't go past Tayshia's head that there's something going on between Noah and Bennett. And she said she was definitely going to get down to the bottom of it. And as we shall see, she will. So now we have our second one-on-one date of the night, and it's with Easy. Easy is extremely excited about this. And it was interesting that the note was saying, don't be afraid to fall in love, or it was something like that. I couldn't quote it exactly. And Tayshia was explaining how she really have a connection with Easy and wanted to see how it goes. Now, the interesting thing is that their date was based on this, I guess, a tale of the actual place where the resort was built over, that, someone was killed there. And so they wanted to turn it into like a haunted house type of group date. But before they group date, the one-on-one date. But before they got there, they cut all the lights out. And of course, you had Tayshia sneak up and scare the living crap out of Easy. It was hilarious. So they decided to follow the whole theme that was set up for the haunted house date. And I mean, to be creative, you got to come up with something, especially being that they can't leave the resort, with everything that's going on with the pandemic. They had to come up with something fun and creative. And I think it got a lot of energy, because you're running around, you're trying to protect each other. It's just you and them against the world. And I think it was a lot of fun. But, I will say that Reality Steve did say that they had folks in the background shaking things every 5 minutes. So I thought that was hilarious. All right, so they had their sit down one-on-one, and Easy was like, I'm going to get this off my chest. I think I'm falling for her. I'm going to let her know. Well, he decided to do that, and the reaction on Tayshia's face was not what he expected. And she was like, I appreciate the fact that you're telling me this and you're being open, but I don't know if I'm not there, and I don't think I can get there. And he was extremely disappointed because he definitely put it out there for her. He became vulnerable and she was just not there. Now, guys, I heard a lot of different stories behind the scene. Why? Because it was a weird scenario on how they started off the date and how it ended it. And it has folks, and I don't know, go look up the details, but I think it had something to do with this case that's going on with Easy. And so that was their way of excusing him. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard, and I'll put that in quotations. So she had walked him out. He picked up his suitcase. The guys that was there, they was definitely shocked. He seemed to be shocked as well, about the fact that he's being sent home and being eliminated from the show. And it definitely took him by surprise. So I hope everything works out for him, and I wish him the best. So now JoJo again arrived at the what is supposed to be the cocktail party because again, as we know, Chris Harrison had to leave to move his son into college and left the bubble. And she tells the guys that it's going to be a cocktail party, but there's some things that need to happen because she's trying to figure out the stuff going on between Bennett and Noah. So they're going to meet with Tayshia separately first. And I'm like, oh my God, these guys, especially the veteran guys, they got to be like, oh my God, can we have a regular cocktail party without interruptions? It seems like every cocktail party, even when Claire was there was something that went left. So, anywho, Bennett is like over the moon. He's like, oh yeah, I know I'm going to win this competition. I know I got this. I mean, he's just really very self-assured that he got it in the bag when it comes to, this whole thing with him and Noah. So they both look really handsome. They decide to, of course, head over to see Tayshia. There's a waiting area because, of course, she's not out there yet. But in the meantime, they're having conversation with each other. And, it turns into this whole thing with, it was weird. It turned to this whole thing with Bennett saying all of these things about basically trying to call Noah out for who he think he is versus who Noah actually is. And then he comes up with this gift. And it had 3 items in it. First, it had this scarf, this red scarf that says that it's about the ranch, it's a friendship gift, and talk about life back in Oklahoma. Socks with these mustaches on it, and that mustaches should only be worn on your feet. In this book about emotional intelligence, where out of 4 of the topics, he's missing 3. And I'm like, are you his therapist? I mean, Bennett went in, tried to go in deep on him, saying, you're not emotionally intelligent. So, you missing 3 out of the 4 yourself, assured, yeah, but everything else, no. And I'm like, Bennett, really? How do you know that? You don't know this man. You just know you're reacting based on the fact that you just don't like this guy. And of course, Tayshia comes in. She's trying to figure this out. And basically, Noah was straight up saying, hey, this is what happened. You repeated one thing, and Bennett went back and said it, and it turned into a 5-on-1 argument, and it was crazy. And she was like, really? Y'all act like high school kids. And you know what? She's telling the truth. And then there's this box, of course, that she sees, and it's like, what is in there? And of course, they left it as a cliffhanger. So to be continued on which of these 2 go home next week. So let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. What happened with Easy? What happened with Noah and Bennett? And we'll see what happens. All right, so if you want to be shouted out, I'm about to do my post notification shout out. Drop a comment down in the comment section. I will look through there and pick out some lucky folks to shout out. So the first person is Priscilla Gardner. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel in last week's episode. I really appreciate it. And then last but not least, Hope Ely. Thank you so much as well for engaging in the channel. I appreciate your comment too. So I hope you like the new intro for Christmas. And until next time, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you then.